Thank you, Sean. Good afternoon, church. It is great to have you with us tonight. I want to say hello and welcome to our Facebook audience as we always do. Um, Obviously, this has not been a normal week for anyone, to say the least. I have a lot of stuff I want to try to run past you tonight. Um, some of this is kind of still up in the Lord's planning room. It is not finished yet. He has given me quite a bit, but not everything yet. Um, I literally, I think I might even put this on the church members page, but last Wednesday night, a week ago, before all of this happened, I basically kind of just laid out something preachers do all the time, which was just a challenge, if you will, to the church for us to look for opportunities to get outside of our own people and make a difference. And I told Tiffany that God called me a couple days ago and said, if you're serious, here you go. And there are a lot of guys, I have this great admiration for a lot of pastors that I know in these big churches, the unbelievable things that they put together and accomplish. And I'm blown away, while I watch some of the things that not only, I mean, smaller churches are all busy too, but it's sometimes hard for me to imagine, having a church of 1,000 people and then bam, it's like in 6 hours they're all over the place. I'm like, oh, I just wish I had that kind of organization ability or whatever. And it's taken me 2 straight weeks just to try to get my house, around my house, cleaned up enough so I can have surgery. Took me 2 weeks just to do a 1 acre yard. And so, but things have just been coming at me wide open the last 2 days. I'm going to talk about them a little bit. And plus, we have a lot of things on our prayer list. I want to hit those first. Once again, I welcome you here. It's great to have Charlie and Nancy with us tonight. Good to see you guys. Proud y'all are able to be here, and all the rest of y'all. Just so thankful for all of you. I will almost assuredly, I'm going to miss something tonight, and so whatever I miss, you fill me in, help me out, because I've got so much going right now that I'm just going to hope for the best here. But walking down through our prayer list, Carol Ann called me a couple days ago on Stephanie Barnes, and they had moved her and also have gotten her, or did they get her on the list? Trying to. Boom. Got you. So they are trying to get her on a transplant list, which would be liver and kidney. Now, what little bit I know about that, and I know Carol Ann told me a little bit about it too, but you have to qualify everything else in your body. If it doesn't reach a certain level, they can't do it, because you hate to put it this way, but a liver and a kidney are so precious. They're only going to put that if they truly believe it can do any good. So keep Kenneth and Stephanie and all the family in your prayers, and we'll just pray that God's will be done. And we certainly do hope that she will be able to get on that list. Jill fell this week. I don't know much about it. banged up some, and I don't think the circumstances around her fall that anybody, they're not still not really 100% sure about any of that, are they? Went to the emergency room. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. So, good. So, Jill had a UTI and was dehydrated, and those two often go together. And those two also often make people pass out or at least lose their balance and stuff. And so, matter of fact, it's amazing UTI the effect they have on people. I know a lot of times people can't think straight, or it's you wouldn't think it would have that much effect on the mind, but it often does with a lot of people. So we are thankful that she doesn't have any serious injuries. We know that Jill has had a lot of stuff going on, and so we're just thankful that it is not. She did not get hurt any worse. Tom called me, Tom Emery, a couple days ago, and I sorry I hadn't got back to you, Tom, but I did get your message. Um, Donald Butler, and I'm sure a lot of y'all here know him. Tom told me he was very involved in the school system for years, and they lost their home in the tornado. I think pretty much a total loss, isn't it, Tom? Okay. So remember Donald Butler and his family during that. John Cunningham. So John took severe damage from the tornado. And then what happened is John got out. John was sick when it hit, and he got out trying to clear debris from his house and in his yard, running a chainsaw, and got uh, severely inflamed in his throat and was unable to swallow. Becky took him to the emergency room, and the reason John was so sick is because John has COVID. And he has been very, very sick. But I literally texted her 5 minutes ago, and his wife says that he is much better and that the meds have started to take effect. So, John, when he gets well, then he has got a giant mess to take care of. So I don't know how his timing could have possibly been any worse for all this to hit him at once. But he is doing better, and so we are certainly thankful for that. He has, I think he got the roof covered on his place. Some guys got that done, and he's going to need an electrician to try to hook up a portable generator for him. And I've got someone in mind. I'm going to see if I can get that as soon as he gets better, see if I can get that done for him. If not, I'm sure, I mean, the problem is right now, we all know it's not a problem. It's not that John can't afford it or anything. It's simply finding someone right now is nearly impossible to do anything because everybody in West Kentucky who has a skill or a trade is using it right now. That's a big enough subject on its own. There are tens of thousands of people tonight that I kind of I wish there was some way that I had everybody who's out there right now working themselves to death. I wish I had all their names so they could run on the Facebook screen while we're doing this, because there are just thousands of people tonight who deserve a pat on the back. As I said in my church members post, I know she would never ask for one, but I'm giving it anyway. I want you all to keep Heather Foley in your prayers. She has obviously working at West Kentucky RECC and being wide open and being over a bunch of linemen. I don't know if she's probably had 2 minutes off since this happened. And then all of her linemen who are out there. Yesterday there was 15 or 20 near Benton. And it was just quite a sight because they were standing all the poles back up and removing lines and everything. And, when it comes to electricity, I get nervous sometimes sticking something in a wall socket, and there is absolutely no way I would get within 1,000,000 miles of one of those big power poles. And to watch those guys do that, it's simply amazing. They are working, I'm guessing, probably pretty close to 24/7. Um, I know, I think it was Sean that told me that it might have been Sean or it may have been somebody else that in some ways this has been actually more difficult than the ice storm. Even though a lot more lines were down with the ice storm, this time they lost TVA infrastructure. And I drove over into the Van Zora area a couple days ago, and there is two big 70, 80-foot tall TVA towers down right past the little tunnel there on North Wadesboro Road. And, I mean, they're out in the middle of a big muddy bean field. And these are towers that have 7 or 8 or 9 lines running to them. Until you get those fixed, you can't even do anything with other stuff. So Heather and everybody else, and I have 4 or 5 friends of mine who are linemen. A lot of them have been for years. I mean, we thank all of those people. They are out doing the Lord's work, because there is just nothing that you can do for people to help more than to get them some electricity back to their homes. I tell you, the Lord has blessed us with the weather, but the fact that it hasn't been terrible cold, and that has sure been good. But we've got some kind of bad weather coming the next couple of days. And today, I'm following so many people, but today everything has been about trying to tarp up roofs, because we've got wind and major rain coming next couple of days, and there are a lot of people out there today working in the wind, and the wind's going to be worse tomorrow. In the next couple of days, I think we're supposed to have maybe up to 40-mile-an-hour winds. That is not what we need. If you're out in any kind of storm damage area, please be careful with 40-mile-an-hour winds. There's going to be stuff falling out of trees everywhere. Please, obviously, I can throw all of the tornado people into one big giant barrel, but I do have a few more I want to touch. But also, I want you to continue to remember Faye. Me and Tiff checked on her, I think it was Monday, I believe it was. I think it was. And she's doing okay. Said she's not feeling too bad or anything, but, she has a broken collarbone. And so it's her good arm. And so, it was just a whole lot of hassle to it. Beverly is scheduled to have surgery tomorrow unless something has changed, the 16th. I am gonna try, unless one of y'all wants to try and give her a call. If one of y'all's got her number, why don't somebody call and see if y'all can get a hold of her real quick? Are they gone? They're already gone. Okay, that's what I was wondering, if they left today. So her surgery is scheduled tomorrow. I'll see if I can get a hold of her tonight and try to put something on our church members page. Continue to remember Harold and Jenny, everything they've been going through. Larry and Dee McGregor. Dee is recovering from her surgery good. I was over there Saturday, but man, they took a ton of damage in there on their place. And his brother Terry lives basically right in behind him. Their properties join, and Terry got hit even worse. Both of these are former owners where Tiffany works. Larry was one of her first bosses. Then Terry took over as a boss later, and now Larry's son is one of Tiffany's bosses now. So to say that we're pretty tied in with the McGregor family is an understatement. Tiffany has worked for the McGregor family for a long, long time. And so, of course, Larry and Dee have been attending some, and so please keep them in your prayers. They do not have power, but group of Southern Baptist workers showed up. I think the county had told them they was going to try to get there in a couple of days and try to start cleaning up, get things off their houses, and to clear their road. And I called Larry yesterday afternoon. He said Southern Baptist showed up in a yellow trailer, and in 3 hours, they had everything done the county was going to try to do. So I want you to remember all of the different church organizations that are around. I was in Draftonville yesterday, saw 2 trailer loads of them, and managed to pull over. They were fueling their trucks, pulled over and talked to them for a little bit. They were from, oh, I cannot believe they were from Illinois. Larry said the group that showed up at his house was from Harrisburg, Illinois. But they're here from 4 or 5 states and all over Kentucky. And like I said, it's not just Baptist groups. That's the ones we obviously know the most about, because I'm able to follow all of them on Baptist websites. But pretty much every denomination you could dream of has got a team in here. We've got teams who are not church related from all over the United States. We certainly want to thank all of them. James Merrick is out of the hospital, doing much better. He is in Marion, Kentucky with Todd. And Margaret is over in Mayfield with Tim. Margaret also got the stomach bug and was very sick, but was much better. And so James could not go where she was because he has had it and just got out of the hospital with it. Their nursing home, I was asked today, and I don't know if I may not have kind of where this was clear to everybody. The assisted living where they're at was not hit and did not get any damage, but it had no power and no water. So they had to move everybody, and fortunately for James and Margaret, their sons were able to take them instead of hauling them off to Paducah. So not sure how long they're going to have to go with that arrangement, but that is where they are right now. I talked to Don's daughter, Rhonda, yesterday afternoon. Don's doing good and is hoping to come back home this weekend. So we are thankful for that. I have not talked to Roy in a couple of days. I need to make myself a note there to try to do that, check in on him and Marcia. I've talked to him since the storm hit, but it was just to make sure that they were okay and everything was good there. Continue to keep her in your prayers. I talked to Betty Sumner. Betty is not good at all and just really going downhill pretty quick. And talking about things that I didn't want to talk about, but you know how that goes. And so, but remember her and Charles both. He's having to pretty much stay with her about all the time. She's not able to get around and do much of anything. And so keep Betty in your prayers. Emma Wells, Marianne's mom, has had COVID and was having the infusion done yesterday. Her dad, Donald, is fighting some serious health problems. That hasn't all come out, and so I'm not going to put it out. But he does need your prayers. Good friend of mine, a girl I've been friends with for years, had shoulder replacement. Laura Westerfield, and she is just a absolute precious Christian sweetheart. And Wayne and Rosemary go to the dentist where she works, and I know they think about as much of her as I do. And I talked to her today, and she is doing good. Surgery went well, and so continue to remember my friend Laura there. Melissa Doty's nephew, Devin. This is Cindy's boy. And him and his girlfriend, I think her name is pronounced, I don't know, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Ashia or Aisha. They were hit and lost everything from their apartment. I mean, everything. So, listen, there's the, you've heard the saying, these are the worst of times, these are the best of times. So that's the way this week has been, and I'm going to get to all that in a minute. But the best of times was this morning. A longtime friend of mine put a post on of another girl that I've known since I was in the sixth or seventh grade, who's the same age as Tiffany, that said, we have some furniture to get rid of if anybody is in need. And if you're on Facebook, a post will come up and tell you when it's put on. And it said, just now, I got on the phone and called her and managed to get all of that furniture for Devin. I mean, it could not have worked out. The Lord could not have put it together any better. I want to thank Suzanne and Rob Mattingly for doing the furniture. Rob is Judge Mattingly, who is over the family court system, and I know Marshall, and I think, is it Callaway too? Marshall and Callaway counties. And so they are great Christian folks, and so we appreciate Judge Mattingly and Suzanne putting that stuff out there. Appreciate my friend Tammy for posting it, and thank the Lord for letting me stumble into it. I don't believe in coincidence, and I've been looking for stuff like that, and bam, there it was, and it worked out perfectly. So Devin is going to get that furniture tomorrow. The whole deal is taken care of. However, his girlfriend, and as I said, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. I'm pretty sure it's her brother, not her sister, but it could be the other way around. They were in Mayfield, and their place was hit, and the mother had 2 children in a bathtub with her. Everything fell in on top of them. When the husband dug them out, he went to get the almost 3-year-old baby out of mom's arms, and the baby was passed away. She was literally holding the child, and it died in her arms. And so Devin's girlfriend is that little one's aunt. So on top of them losing everything, that happened too. And so just, sometimes you can't always stand to read something on a prayer list, and that's one of those that you hate to even have to mention. So obviously that family has suffered, and they lost everything, their home and everything also, and then obviously none of that matters, I'm sure, to them right now after losing a almost 3-year-old child. So please keep them in your prayers. Continue to keep Dana Stamper in your prayers. Haven't talked to her in a couple of days. Dana, she is fine and everything, as I said Sunday, but her house is a near total loss. She doesn't know 100% for sure, and she doesn't know about her car and whether it's going to be fixable or not, which also leads me to remind you that Devin and his girlfriend that I just mentioned, they did today find a house. I believe they're going to be able to rent. And so we're going to take up an offering for them Sunday. They're going to need some money to pay some down payments and to help take their car, some deductibles and stuff. If you want to donate to that, just write a check to our benevolence fund and just put Devin on there, and we'll know what it's for. And we're going to get together and try to help them get. He is a member here, and so I don't want to make it sound like that's who all we do it for, but it's even bigger priority. And he is a member here, and so we certainly want to do everything we can for them. I don't have all the details, but my understanding is that Sonny Vincent suffered a direct hit. What? Yeah, I heard that he is okay. Did his son also get? That's why okay, gotcha. All right, gotcha. So, want to keep Sonny in our prayers. Anna told me tonight that her brother Harold McKinney, we could take him off the prayer list, and that's good because our prayer list is so big. We're always thankful when we can take somebody off. Now, and Glenna told me just a minute ago that the Eagles Club down in Mayfield they're taking clothing donations. They're looking for people who could come down there and fold and stuff. Take clothing and fold them, and I'm sure probably get them organized and bags. If anybody is looking for something that you would like to do with your hands, then there's an opportunity for that. There's uh, a lot of other things that most of us that are here tonight can't have anything to do with. It's kind of driven me crazy because uh, I guess me and Tiffany both kind of laughed about it a little bit, but I told her I would love to take my chainsaw and go somewhere and cut trees, but I knew that they would be bringing an ambulance, and somebody would say, "Did they find somebody hurt?" And they would say, "No, it's one of those volunteers over there." Because sure enough, with me, I would not get back out on the crutch that I'm on tonight. I would not come back out without something else injured, and I don't really have time for any more injuries. So we're trying to find other things to do. But then late this afternoon, well, actually it started yesterday, but Tiffany's dear friend Teresa Wallace, that we've had on there for about a month now, she got cancer diagnosis, pancreatic cancer diagnosis about a month ago, and started chemo. And then last night, Tiff got notification that something had gone wrong. They just asked for prayers for her and her husband. We could not get real information, and then late this afternoon, her daughter posted that the chemo has had no effect, and they are sending her home, and she is going on hospice. She is the same age as me. She's 59. There's a prayer vigil going on at her house. Tiff was going to go and decided, there's so much things going on here because we were not expecting to get that news this afternoon. So she is hoping to be able to go up and see her in the next couple of days, but from everything we gathered, we don't expect this to last very long. So please remember her and her family. It's really, not only is she one of Tiff's best friends, I'll just tell you she's a wonderful Christian lady, just super sweet. Has a 6-month-old is he that old now? A year-old grandbaby. One kid still in high school. So just an absolute tragedy, and we know she's going to be okay eternally, but obviously we know her family is about to, suffer the one thing that none of us ever wants to have to go through. So please put them in your special prayers, and we would greatly appreciate that. Now, continuing. What is today? Wednesday? Okay. So yesterday morning, I think it was, there is a nurse who works at Lourdes who my dad was in the ICU for about 31 or 32 days before he passed away. And this nurse, we struck up a special friendship with her. She was going through a divorce at the time, and actually me and Tiff kind of went off in a room with her one night and were able to counsel her because she was doing so much for us. And she had a sister passed away a couple years ago, and she's just really been through it. And yesterday morning, she put a post on because she has a bunch of family in Princeton and Dawson Springs. And right now, if you call over to Mayfield trying to ask what you can do, if it's not chainsaws or heavy equipment, they're probably going to tell you, as far as if you want to go over and feed people and such, they're going to tell you don't need you. Marshall County is the same way. Marshall County is an extremely wealthy county, and things over there are running slick as a whistle as far as things. It is going as good as it can because they have a lot of money and they have a lot of help right now. Mayfield is gotten to the point where some friends of ours wanted to go over there and feed people last Sunday, and they told them not to come. They didn't need them. They've got so many. Now, Freddie and Natasha went over there, and if you do what they did, which was just get out and drive around and just stop at people's houses, you can get rid of your food. But they, just a few days ago, they set up a big food thing at Oak Level Church of Christ just down the road from me, right between me and the Damage just down the road. And I went up there a couple times, and there wasn't 5 people showed up all day. So here locally, things are really running smooth. In some towns like Casey, Kentucky, Dawson Springs, Princeton, Jared Baker, since it doesn't matter now, but Jared is on. He works with the fire department up there where he lives, up by Central City, and he took the call the other night and went to Bremen, and Bremen is a town of about 300 people, and they had 11 killed out of 300. And if you figure the percentage of that, that's beyond imagination. I don't think there's much over 11 in Mayfield, amazingly. But there was 11 people killed there, and I think it was like 4 or 5 families that almost all of them came out of, but apparently wiped the whole town off. So she was looking for some help. Freddie and Natasha have kinfolks in Dawson Springs. And so I thought maybe this would be a great opportunity for us to go somewhere else since things are running so smooth here. So I called Freddie, and y'all know, like I said earlier, I don't believe in coincidence. I called Freddie and told him that maybe we should try Dawson Springs, and he said that's where me and Natasha are wanting to go. So made some phone calls, and Freddie called and talked to a guy, and we had everything set up to go, okay? And a friend of ours, mine and Tiffany, some folks have been friends with forever, posted on Facebook that they'd kind of been told, we don't need you anymore in Mayfield. We would like to go to somewhere that's not getting service, like maybe Dawson Springs. So Tiffany grabs the phone, calls them. They call me and said, we have 200 Boston butts and 100 people ready to go. So here we had what we were going to do and them, and then today they told us not to come. So she calls me back this afternoon. Her brother works for the State Department, federal government. He took off and came here. He doesn't run a food truck, but he has a big giant smoker. She told me, just stay ready. My brother has a real bad habit. He doesn't let anybody tell him no, ever. She called me late this afternoon and said, supposedly, we are going to Dawson Springs Saturday. And so she said, my brother refused to let anybody tell him no, and I think he might have gotten a little out of hand on the telephone, and somebody said, I think just kind of gave in and said, okay, fine, you want to come, just come. But I don't have details. She's going to call me back hopefully tonight after church. If she does, we're going to go. We're going to do the same thing we done Sunday. We're going to go and get some meat, try and smoke it, take ours up there, meet that group. A bunch of them are from Southland Baptist Church down in Paducah. Meet them up there and go into an area where they have not had any food trucks. The highway has been closed. The only people who've been in and out is emergency personnel. So there is no food trucks, none of that. They're delivering essentials to them. It's an amazing opportunity, and I've been jacked up all day about it, and then the rug got pulled out from underneath me, and it just felt like, well, I guess it wasn't the Lord's will, and here we go. And so possibly, yes, Freddie. Gotcha. Okay. So we still have an opportunity there. If this other group is going to get to go, it's going to work out to where we're actually going to have 2 different. That was what me and her was hoping to do anyway, is split up. Then, so I got on the phone and called Jared and asked him about Bremen. And he said, if you get food to Dawson, I can get it. Basically, we can meet somewhere and I can get it to Bremen. So this other group, they fed over the group that's been trying to do this with us, they fed over 5,000 people in Mayfield Sunday. So they got a big operation and a bunch of people. So I am hoping and praying that I can get a big load from them, enough for 300 or 400 people, and me and Jared can get it to Bremen. So just keep all this in your prayers. It is a big undertaking. It's bigger than me. This is not. I don't organize big giant things like this, and it has. At times, I felt like I was spinning in the wind, and thankfully, the Lord continues to work in it. And so, we're just going to hope and pray that all of that will come together. The other group has also got some supplies. They have been taking donations. And so they've got some supplies that may allow us to get some water and other things to take with us too. We're going to hope that between the two groups, they will let us get into some actual neighborhoods. The girl I was talking about who kind of spurred me on to do this, she's got a bunch of family up there, and nobody is able to get in their neighborhoods with anything. Don't know if they'll let us in. If they do, we're going to try to take some extra vehicles between us and them and try to get in to some of those. It's a big undertaking. It's way bigger than me, and I am so thankful that they have gotten involved in it, because they've been doing this since Saturday, and they have got their gears going and rolling, and it is an amazing opportunity, and I thank the Lord for them reading, or for Tiffany. I'm thankful to my wife for calling her. I'm thankful for her for calling me, and this is just an amazing opportunity. The amount of devastation Tiff and I have learned about this week from people we know in Marshall County just continues. We know of at least 2 very young families, probably in their, I don't know, how old do you think Matt is? He's not 30, is he? Matt Pace? Is he? Is he maybe 30? Him and his wife, I know they have 1 baby or 2. They have 2. They lost everything. His grandparents and my mom worked together at the bank forever, great friends of ours. And then I posted a young couple on our church page the other day. It's a young girl, Tiffany and I. She was in our youth group at when we were at Sharp. And her aunt, Rhonda, is the girl. She comes to church here every now and then. If you remember when me and Tiff sang with a couple of girls here at church, it's one of those girls. And so she is one of Tiff's journey girls, they call themselves. And then every day I just read, as information comes out, I continue, because y'all know a lot more people in Graves County. I know everyone in Marshall. Between the two every day, and matter of fact, Charlie sent me was that your uncle? Charlie's uncle got leveled pretty much. And right, and his cousin also. And so it's just, if all the information in the world could come out today, I got a feeling we're all going to go, oh, I hadn't heard about them. Keep all these people in your prayers. People are doing amazing work right now. But at the same time, there is places like Casey where they are begging for help. Mayfield, I guess the good part about it is Mayfield has been what has been on the news all the time. So it has kind of been inundated with help, okay? So they're really getting what they need. I think the biggest problem there is there are people you can't get it to, but that's not because they don't have the stuff. Some of these small towns up in through here, all the way up, I tell you, I drove over to to Brother Mike Farmer's church at Van Zora, and that place is tore all to pieces, and the church is fine, and we are thankful for that. But that's about 2.5 miles from our house on the same road we live on, but it is ripped up down through there. I mean, it's bad. Good friend of mine, Dale Gold, one of my best buddies for years. His parents lost everything they had out near Van Zora Church. They're out there pretty close. Just, every day it's something else. But I hate it that it always takes this to bring the best out of people, and but it has for the most part. Now, a couple days ago, somebody broke into some WKRECC trucks and stole all their tools, which is beyond my imagination. Just today in Marshall County, and they caught this guy. Fortunately, y'all don't know if you've seen it or not. Guy got on his pontoon boat and started going around the shores out by Cambridge Shores, and there is pontoon boats everywhere up on the shore. And fortunately, somebody got their camera out and got pictures of him. He's been pulling into boats and stealing all the radios and everything out of them. These are people's boats who are upside down in their yards. It's for most of us, it's beyond our. I think most of us want to think that evil at least takes a break during this, but it doesn't. And there are people right now who are calling with all kinds of scams. I want you to be real careful. If you answer your phone and somebody is looking for donations, my advice is do not give it to them. If you want to give some money, if you call me, I will get you somewhere where it is not a scam. Don't give out any financial information to anybody for anything. They are calling saying they're with the police department, the Red Cross, you name it. People are calling with everything. These people right now are not calling anybody. John Hayden, the sheriff over here, is a longtime friend of mine. He put on there today, if we want your money, we'll do something where you can bring it to us, okay? So, but the sheriff's department does have a fund set up. You want to donate. They're in most of the banks around here in Mayfield, in Marshall County. Most all of them have set up funds to do these things. If you, and I know many of you are like me and you're like, I wish I could do more. Let me say, if you're like me and you know you can't do this stuff, the one thing you can do is cut a check. Even I, in bad shapes I'm in, I can still write a check, okay? You can find a good organization that's doing things. A lot of our local churches have funds set up where they're taking donations, and they will take money too. And, that's people you can trust. I know what else I wanted to say. After all this, I think sometimes it gets real easy for us to, when things aren't close to us. Right now, believe it or not, a near identical situation with what happened to us Friday night is taking place in Iowa. They've been 75 degrees and a cold front. The one that's coming through here, fortunately for us, it is not supposed to be tornadic this time. But, I follow a bunch of storm chasers, and they are all in Iowa. And they're predicting some severe, long-lived tornadoes in Iowa and Minnesota tonight. And the guy that I follow said there has never been a recorded tornado in Minnesota in December ever. And they are worried they might have F4s. These last 2 weeks are, it's just been crazy. And I've never seen so many people who look tired. And I'm talking about people who didn't get hit because if you go on Facebook or you turn on the news, it's just tragedy, 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 and we are all being greatly affected by it. Um, I truly believe that when you pray for other people, that it helps you alleviate the wear and tear that you're feeling yourself. Um, I had about a 3 hour period today when I was back and forth on the phone with 4 or 5 different people where I literally got busy enough that I kind of just forgot everything. I wasn't, depressed or worried. I mean, I was like, let's see if we can get this done, see if we can get it done. And it really just impressed on me what the Bible teaches us all the time in the New Testament. That, as I like to say, the most basic call of being a Christian is that you focus on other people's needs more than you focus on your own. It's not telling us to deny our own needs, what we need. There is nowhere in the Bible that tells a poor person to go and give a bunch of money to a relief organization. You're not going to find it in there, folks. I like to put it this way: there are a lot of people who are in plenty good shape with money. If they're Christians, I encourage them to cover the slack for the people who aren't. There are the story in the Bible of the widow who gave her last mite has always told me that it is all about attitude. And I think right now that there are thousands of people who really want to do something and can't. As I said, I'd give anything to be in good health. I can't imagine how good I would feel at the end of the day if I could run over to a subdivision in Marshall County and trim trees, and help move metal. And I think the people who are doing it right now come home every night tired, but they just feel that goodness inside of them, knowing that they made a difference in somebody's life. Sunday, I was exhausted by the time we left here Sunday, getting here early and staying late and then coming back. But I was so invigorated Sunday morning while we were all in the back making sandwiches. I think I told Kay, this is just a picture of what it is to be the church. Not just go to church, not be at church, but be the church. While we were wrapping those sandwiches, it just knowing that not a single person we took these to, we were never going to benefit, if you will, from any of these people. There's no reason for us to believe that those people over there in Mayfield are going to say, wow, it's so great they brought those. Why don't we just move over there and start going to church? Because they probably had 15 other churches through there in the last 3 days. And it's just great to think about the fact that we did that as a group here together. And I so appreciate Freddie and Natasha doing all of their work. It was every bit as much their idea, probably even more than it was mine. They were looking for something to do, and all I really did was kind of take their desires and help them try to put it together. And for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I was talking to a person today, and they said, I really wish that you could call us back in about 2 weeks, because I will guarantee you we'll be wishing y'all could come. You know as well as I do, this stuff will not last. There are people here from 20 different states doing amazing work, giving of their, people driving down here and making barbecue and cooking. These are people that have to go back to their jobs here pretty soon. And in 2 or 3 weeks, there's going to be countless opportunities to help people. Right now, things are going great, but it can't stay that way. People have to go back to their jobs, go back to work. The schools are going to reopen. Right now, I love it. There's football players from teams. You see these big old strapping boys out pulling brush, and I mean, I just, it getting a little misty eyed right now because it just, you know, I just love seeing these people what everybody's doing right now, and I have been selfish the last couple of days, and I've told people I was selfish. I told them one of the reasons that I have tried so hard to put some of this together is because I'm having surgery Monday, and I'm not going to be able to do any of this stuff for 2 or 3 weeks for sure. And I just dying for an opportunity to make a difference myself before I'm not going to be able to. And I, uh, I just want you to be in great prayer for the next couple days, and I'm hopeful that between our group and their group, and go to our church members page often. As soon as we get some logistics figured out, we'll start posting it on there. I will call up Ma Bell, or as we call her, Anna, and get and get Anna's hotline going. uh, that's my nickname for Anna because when I'm running crazy and I need 25 or 30 people to know something, I call Anna and say, "Here you go. Thank you." And she gets on the phone and does it. She has served me so greatly in my time here, and I will do that. If you are going to be able to help in any way Saturday, just get a hold of me, and we'll find you something to do. Um, yes, what else? Um, Hopefully, I have covered everything tonight that I wanted to. I really wanted to preach, but I know y'all'd love to hear preaching. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's things that people are needing even worse right now. You go in the Bible, and you're going to find out that that sometimes people what they need is your hands and your feet, even more than they need your mouth. And right now, uh, I sure hope I'm right on this. Right now, I'm going to tell you the truth. I truly believe that a lot of people are going to be saved through this. I think right now there are people who live in a neighborhood somewhere who don't think much of Christians or churches, and all of a sudden they're just amazed. Like, this is the 10th different church that's come through here trying to feed us and, trying to give us clothes and trying to give us gift cards to Walmart. And listen, I'm going to tell you what, it's going to have an effect on some people. There's going to be some people after this. I truly believe this, and I'm going to close with this. There's going to be some people after this who are going to say maybe those people actually are who they claim to be. If you're out and about and you see somebody out in their yard, and maybe you just pull over for a minute and just say, "Hey, could I pray with you?" And I can pretty much assure you, I don't care who they are, they're most likely going to say yes. Y'all remember I walked into a group of bikers a couple of years ago at a motorcycle wreck, and I was nervous. I really was. I shouldn't have been, but I was nervous. And I walked in and asked them if I could pray with them, and they were like, "Please do." We gathered around, and I almost went home with a buzz myself from the alcohol. And I don't know, I came home that night, and it was one of those days where you just felt like I was in the right place at the right time. Thank you, Lord. I tell you what, they all look better than I did. People don't care sometimes. I had just weed eated my yard and had grass all over me. I truly believe that they like that better than if I had had on my nicest clothes. Maybe I just looked a little bit more like what they wanted. We're going to close tonight in prayer, and we're going to close tonight in thanks. Um, we have had 4 or 5 of our church members directly affected, and we have not lost anyone. I have, to this point, I do not personally know a single person whose life has been taken in this at this point. That's hard for me to believe. And folks, there were 8 people killed in that factory in Mayfield. And if you'd told me 8 lived, I would have said, wow, that's amazing. And instead of only 8 living, only 8 died. Wow, I mean, that's incredible. The Lord has truly. There may be some people out on the street right now who might think that's one of the most foolish things I could ever say. Well, look what he did to that plant. Well, look what he didn't. I tell you, if everybody in that plant was dead, would any of us been shocked? No. I thought they all were. I just assumed it. 90% of them got out. That's amazing. Truly, the Lord was with those people. Um, God bless you. I will get the word out on everything that we got going. Yes, Tom. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Major cancer. Larry. Yes. I know who you're talking about. I see him down at the corner post market a lot. I've spoken to him a couple times just walking in and out. So his name is Larry. For those of you who are on Facebook and you couldn't hear that, Larry is a guy who he is in a electric wheelchair, and you see him down here at the four-way stop in Simpsonia a lot. He sits out by the corner post market a lot, and I think just talks to people coming in and out. And so we will add Larry. We do not know his last name, and somebody listening might. If you do, just put. Do you know it, Carl? Okay. No, go ahead. Give me yours. Carol Copeland. What? Do y'all know? You know her husband's name? Anybody? Is it Kenneth? Okay. Well, we're gonna put Carol Copeland in family because we know that this is another family. Uh, I guess that's out towards the end of 131. Okay. Um, okay. So Carol Copeland and her family lost everything. It's been crazy to see. A personal friend of mine found a check yesterday, the other side of Edible, that came from Mayfield in his yard. Um, Sent me a picture of it yesterday to see if I knew the people. I did not. Um, and so he put it on Facebook, and I think somebody identified it. But um, I have seen things from Mayfield that have been found all the way up the other side of Dawson Springs, and saw something near Louisville the other day from Tennessee. So it stayed in the supercell even after the tornado fell out and carried all the way up there. God bless you all. I'm so thankful for all of you tuning in tonight. I think our time tonight is well spent going through these people's names that need our prayers, these needs that have come up. I just want to encourage you, if you see an opportunity to help somebody, um, jump right in. If you find someone who needs help from the church, get a hold of me. That's what we're here for. If we're able to help an individual personally with some things, that would be great. I love giving to bigger organizations, but it's always even more special when you know exactly where it goes. Continue to keep all of the folks on our prayer list. We ask you to please keep Tiffany's friend in your special prayers, Teresa Wallace. What's her husband's name? Mike. Teresa and Mike Wallace. And we're just going to hope and pray that her time left will be as easy as possible. Would you join me in prayer tonight? Father, we come tonight, Lord, and I had a desire to preach, but we have had so many prayer requests here that it is worthy for us to just take our time tonight and to go through these names with so many different needs, Lord. And we thank you for miraculous things that we have seen. And then we lift up those, Lord, who have suffered such great loss. And Lord, at one time, last Friday night, about 9:30, they came on the weather station and said, if you are in Simpsonia, take cover immediately. And at that point, I truly just figured that I was going to climb out of my storm shelter and find out that maybe even my church was gone, but that I was going to spend the next 2 days trying to figure out how many people I might have lost. And Lord, we did suffer some damage from this church, but we are so thankful that you spared each and every one of our members. But Lord, there are churches all around us who have not been so fortunate. There are families who have lost. I saw today a story where 7 people in one family were killed. Just amazing. And we lived in an Amish family where almost an entire family was killed. I think down towards Casey. And Lord, so much tragedy all around us, but we're so thankful for the thousands of people today who are giving their time and their hearts, people who are just working hour after hour trying to help people. And Lord, I pray you just continue to show us great opportunities to help others. And Lord, as a church, we have a desire to make a difference, and I am so thankful that through tragedy you've given us opportunities. Help us make the most of them. Lord, tonight you are worthy of praise. When tragedy comes, help us to remember there is hope for every one of us who are believers. For all of us who have been saved, that we have a possession that no tornado can take, and that is our eternal security in our salvation. We love you, we thank you, and we praise you tonight, and we do it all in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. God bless you, folks. Have a, yes, yes. Larry Wright is the guy in the wheelchair. Okay. Thank you, Ronnie. Appreciate that very much. God bless you, folks. Thank y'all for coming. Thank you, Facebook friends. Keep in touch with me if anything comes up. We love you, and we hope to see you Sunday, if not before.